Vincent made an incredible number of self-portraits. We have 17 in our collection here at the Van Gogh Museum alone, but we know of a total of at least 35. Vincent had a hard time finding models in Paris. After all, it was an actual job and the models were used to being paid. Unable to afford models, Vincent turned to his mirror. He used himself as a model to practice painting portraits. What we often don't realize is that most of these portraits were never meant to be sold. They were, in fact, Vincent's study material. This also explains why he looks so different in each and every one of them. He's trying out a new painting style, adopting a brighter palette and practicing along the way. And have you noticed that he often portrays himself with different accessories like pipes or hats? Some of these self-portraits are on the back of a canvas that he took with him from the Netherlands. So he reused old material, which is proof that Vincent used these self-portraits to practice. Vincent started making self-portraits in 1886 in Paris. Let's take a look at one of Vincent's earliest self-portraits and the first in which he portrayed himself as an artist. He stands at his field easel holding his palette. The rectangular palette is covered with splotches of paint. Each one is a pure, unmixed color. At the top is a small jar of turpentine for thinning the paint. There are 2 holes in the palette. In one we see Vincent's thumb and in the other 2 brushes. If we look at this portrait from the end of Vincent's 2 years in Paris and compare, we see an incredible difference in color and texture compared to when he arrived in the French capital. In this self-portrait, Vincent again presented himself as a painter, holding a palette and paintbrushes behind his easel. He used a new painting style with bright and almost unblended colors to show that he was a modern artist. The palette contained complementary color pairs of red and green, yellow, purple, and blue and orange, precisely the colors that Vincent used for this painting. He used these pairs side by side to intensify one another. The blue of his smock, for instance, and the orange-red of his beard. Vincent was more concerned with the painterly aspect than with producing a faithful likeness. That being said, some things stay the same. The ginger hair and the beard, a high and slightly sloping forehead, and somewhat deep-set green eyes. Interestingly, the most accurate portrait is not actually one of his own, but it's the portrait by the Australian painter John Peter Russell. Vincent was very attached to it. Years later, he wrote to Theo, "Take good care of my portrait by Russell, which means a lot to me."